Hello, and welcome along to Adobe After Effects with your host, Robert Smith. In this video, we're going to do a little bit of catch-up on the 3D world. Perhaps you're new to the 3D world in After Effects, or maybe you've done a little bit in the past and you need a bit of revision. So let's get stuck in. Here I am in After Effects. Now let's look at the file we're going to be working on. If I Command Tab to Photoshop, like this, I've got a deep etched image here. In other words, I've taken the background out. Now I can save this as a .psd file to preserve this transparency, or a .png file. Either is fine. So I'm going to Command Tab back to After Effects, and what I'm going to do is I'll just get rid of that and we'll start again. I'll go to File, Import, File, and the file I want is this base.png. Now I'll open that. It has no issues. It's not a layered file, so we don't need to make a composition out of it. We'll just import it like that. Okay, let's make a new composition to actually house this. So new composition like this, or Apple N, and 1280 by 720, 25 frames a second, and a duration of 10 seconds. So I'll just type in 1000. 1 second equals 100, like that. That's a simple way of, or a shorthand way of putting duration into a composition. And OK. Now I've got a 10-second timeline down here, and we're ready to go. OK. Now the first thing I want to do is put a background in, which most 3D worlds you'll put some sort of background so we can cast shadows and do all sorts of things like that. So to do that, I'm going to Apple Y or Control Y on the PC to make a new solid, and sort of a bluish color is fine. Make it comp size, and OK, like that, and it fills up the composition area. Now I'll grab my base from my project window, my base PNG, and drag it down here and make sure it's the top layer so I can see it. And as you can see, it's a fairly large file. So what I need to do is I'm going to press the letter S for scale on that. I've got this layer selected down here, S for scale, and I'm going to just drag that number to the left down to about 17%, like that, so we can see the whole base. Great. Let's twirl that back up. Now we need to make both these layers 3D layers. Now we always forget to do that, and that's this little cubey looking thing here. If I click here like that, and there like that, now they're both 3D layers. But when we work in the 3D world, it's very difficult to see what's going on when we're looking straight at the object. So to fix that, we can go to this thing over here where it says one view and make it two views horizontal. So on the right hand side, I'll just Apple minus, clicking so I can see the whole image. And on the left hand side, you'll see it says up here top. You can change that by going down here and changing it to whatever view you like. But we're going to look at the top view. So right now, on the right hand side, we're looking straight at the base, or the active camera is looking straight at the base. On the left hand side, we're looking the bird's eye view straight on top of it. And okay, so what we really need to do now is to grab our solid like this, and we need to transform it or push it back into space, because both these things are in exactly the same Z space. In other words, they're sitting right on top of each other. So to fix that, I'm going to go over here to my transform, like that, and under position, you'll notice now we've got three numbers here, X, Y, and Z. Okay, if I drag this to the right, you can see what's happening. On the left hand side, you can see it going out into space like that. I'm just dragging that number like this. On the right hand side, you can see what the camera's seeing. So obviously it's not really scaling, it's not doing anything, it's just going, I should say, further away from the camera like that. Okay, so I'm going to, about 600 is fine, 620 like that. That's the third number we just used. I'll just shut that up again now. And actually I'll open it again, because I really need to scale it back up again. Now that it's in the distance, we need to make it a lot bigger. So I'm going to scale that up till it fits the window like that. We have a full blue background. But the trick to it is, of course, that this is the base here, and this is the background. And now we can start to animate the base. So to do that, I'm going to go to the base layer. Might actually move that up a little bit. Go to the base layer, and under transform here, I'm going to put a keyframe in Y rotation at 0 like that, then go to about 1.5 seconds along my timeline like this, and then I'm going to double click on that, or click on that first number there in the Y rotation and type in 4. So I'll get 4 rotations of that bass guitar. As you can see on the left hand side, you can see it spinning from the top. On the right hand side, you can see it spinning just like that, what the camera's seeing. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select those 2 keyframes and go to Animation, Keyframe Assistant, Easy Ease In, so it'll just slow down as it comes into position, which looks quite smart indeed. Okay, now I've got this, I'm ready to go. I want to add a light to it, make it a bit more dramatic. So to do that, I'm going to move this up a little bit. I might go back to one view now, just to save a bit of real estate. Go back to one view like that, and I'll just go to my base layer and twirl that up just to neaten my timeline. Now if I hold the control key down and click down here, I can go to new like this, new light. Okay, and now light settings like this. I'm going to make the intensity about 60%, the cone angle about 111. We'll just save these defaults like that. Shadow darkness, the important thing is to make sure it says cast shadows like that. So I'm going to click OK. Fantastic. So now we've lit the scene a little bit with our spotlight. We haven't made a dramatic, we're going to do that, or a dramatic lighting change. We're going to do that with another light in a minute. Okay, so now I've got a light in my scene like this, but I'm not getting any shadows. Now, what I've got to do is go to my base layer, and under the material options on the base layer, you'll see a thing that says cast shadows. If I turn that on, it'll now cast shadows as it spins around like that. Very good indeed. We're liking that. Now, to see it without the light and everything in the way, we'll need to go to our preview, which is up here. And if I click on my RAM preview, like that, that'll all disappear and we can watch the action, which is exactly what we want. We've got a spinning bass like that with a shadow attached to it. So let's add another light. Same thing again, hold the control and click down here. I'll go for another light. This time I'm going to give it an intensity of about, I'll start off with about 80% and a cone angle of about that, 100, might drop that to about 95. These all can be changed later. So let's just do that, have a look at that, what that does. That's lit the scene, I should say, really well. Okay, it's very, very bright indeed, but I want to change that cone angle. I'm not real happy with that. So if I just double click on that layer, I can go back to that preferences. And I'm just going to drag that cone angle to the left to make it a little bit smaller. Just like that. About 50% is good. And okay. Now what I want to do is animate this light up and down the base. Now to do that, I'm going to twirl this down like that, and I'll twirl the base down so I can get some keyframes, the transform keyframes. And I want to go to exactly this keyframe in time, and it stops spinning like that. When it stops spinning, very nice indeed. So to get there, I'm going to press the letter K on the keyboard. It'll take me to this keyframe. And that's where I want the light to start going up and down. So to do that, I'm going to go back to my light 2, to my transform, like this. And I'm going to put a keyframe in the X rotation, just like that. I'm going to move along a little bit to about here, to about 3 seconds, I suppose. And I'm just going to use the second number in the X rotation to go up to the top, like that. And then I'll move along about the same distance, and then I'll go the other way, just move. So the spotlight goes up and down the base, just like that. That's what we want. So let's have a look at that in action. Go back to the start, RAM preview, got my spinning bass, I get the shadow, and the base up and is lit by the second spotlight. Okay, what a fabulous thing that is. Okay, that's a basic introduction to using a light, and what we've really looked at is getting an image and a background, and separating them in Z space, and then adding a couple of lights to add a little bit of drama to the scene. Very basic 3D operation in After Effects. Hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.